All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about 5 powerful, science-backed daily habits that can seriously shift the odds in your favor when it comes to cancer prevention after 50. Now, this isn't about some miracle cure. This is about small, consistent things you can do every day that cutting-edge research says can make a world of difference. Just take a look at this number, 61%. Let that sink in for a second. That is not a small change. It represents a massive potential drop in your overall cancer risk. So the big question is, where in the world does a number like that even come from? Well, it comes from a huge Harvard study. We're talking nearly 3 decades of research following over 116,000 adults. And what they discovered was absolutely stunning. This incredible 61% reduction in risk wasn't tied to some new pill or a complex surgery. Nope, it was linked to a specific set of 5 daily habits. It's all about lifestyle, so today we're going to break down exactly what those 5 habits are. Okay, let's kick off our countdown with habit number 5. And honestly, this is one that people often overlook because it just seems too simple, but the science is crystal clear. Starting your day with a big glass of water is one of the most powerful things you can do. It's literally a cellular cleanse. Here's why. You have this incredible network in your body called the lymphatic system. The best way to think of it is as your body's internal garbage truck. Its main job is to go around and collect all the junk, cellular waste, toxins, even bits of damaged DNA that could go rogue and mutate. But here's the catch. That garbage truck runs on water. If you're dehydrated, the whole system grinds to a halt. That waste builds up and that creates inflammation, which we now know is a major trigger for cancer. And if you need to see the proof, look at this data from the Harvard Nurses Health Study. The difference is just wow. Women who drank more than 5 glasses of water a day had a 45% lower risk of colon cancer compared to those who drank 2 or fewer. For something as simple as drinking water, that is a staggering difference. So how do you get this right? It's easy. The protocol is to drink about 16 to 20 ounces of filtered water right when you wake up. And I mean right away, before your coffee, before breakfast, before you even look at your phone. If you want, add a little squeezed lemon, which has its own anti-tumor properties. And here's a great little synergy tip. Pair that water with just 10 minutes of light movement like walking or stretching. Research shows that simple combo can boost your lymphatic flow by up to 40%. Talk about a morning power-up. Okay, moving on to habit number 4. So you started your day by cleansing your system with water. The next step is to fortify your body's main line of defense from the inside out, your gut. And we do that with the incredible power of fermented foods. The real hero here is a compound called butyrate. See, when the good bacteria in your gut get to work fermenting fiber, they produce this stuff. And you can think of butyrate as a super smart security guard for your colon. Amazing research out of Stanford shows that it can actually identify precancerous cells, the troublemakers, and it signals them to self-destruct. It's a process called apoptosis. So it's basically taking out the trash before it becomes a real problem. And this isn't just theory, it really works. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 67 with a strong family history of colon cancer, and she had chronically high inflammation markers. She started adding just 2 servings of fermented foods a day, a little kefir and some sauerkraut. And get this, in only 90 days, her key inflammation marker plummeted by 38%. Her doctors were absolutely amazed. All right, habit number 3. Now, this takes something we all know, walking, and gives it a really critical scientific twist. We're not just talking about any kind of walking, we're talking about metabolic walking. And understanding this difference is key, because it could mean the difference between feeding cancer and actually starving it. So here's the core science, which was first figured out by Nobel laureate Otto Warburg. Cancer cells have a weird quirk. They are total sugar junkies. They rely almost entirely on glucose for fuel. And they love low oxygen environments. Healthy cells, on the other hand, they're much more flexible and they thrive on oxygen. This fundamental difference is a major weakness we can actually exploit. And that's exactly what metabolic walking does. It's a double whammy. By walking at a steady, moderate pace, you start to burn up that circulating glucose, basically stealing cancer's favorite food. At the same time, you're flooding your body and tissues with oxygen, creating an environment that cancer cells absolutely hate. And the numbers speak for themselves. A massive study of 1.4 million adults showed this kind of activity led to a 42% drop in colon cancer risk, 38% in breast cancer, and 27% in lung cancer. That's huge. So, We've talked about changing our body's environment. Now, with habit number 2, we're going even deeper. We're talking about flipping a genetic switch inside your cells to activate your body's own incredibly powerful built-in defense system. So deep inside your cells, you have this master genetic switch called NRF2. A good way to think of it is as the head of security for your DNA. When it's switched on, it activates more than 200 protective genes that fix damage and detoxify everything. But here's the problem that comes with age. Between 50 and 70, its activity can drop by about 40%. It's like your head of security is slowly falling asleep on the job. And this is so cool. Research from Johns Hopkins University found that we can wake it back up. The key is a compound called sulforaphane, which you find in cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli and especially in broccoli sprouts. It doesn't just help a little, it literally flips that genetic switch back on, telling that security guard to get back to work protecting your DNA. Now, how you prepare it really matters. You see, sulforaphane is only created when an enzyme gets activated by chopping or chewing the broccoli. But that enzyme is super delicate and gets destroyed by high heat. So to get the most out of it, you need to chop your broccoli. Then, this is the important part, let it sit for about 40 minutes. That gives the chemical reaction time to happen. Then just steam it lightly for no more than 3 or 4 minutes. This little kitchen chemistry trick makes all the difference. And that brings us to the number 1 habit, the master switch. Honestly, this is the one that ties everything else together, and it's so often the one we neglect the most. We are talking about the nightly reset. We're talking about sleep. You know, while you're sleeping, your brain isn't just off. It's actually hard at work. During your deepest sleep cycles, it turns on this thing called the glymphatic system. You can literally think of it as a power wash for your brain. It uses fluid to flush out all the metabolic junk and toxic proteins that have built up during the day. But here's the key. This cleaning system only runs at full blast when you are in that deep, restorative sleep. But it's not just about cleaning. Deep sleep is also when your immune system recharges. Take Eleanor, a 71-year-old who just wasn't sleeping well. Her blood work showed that her natural killer cells, these are your frontline soldiers that seek and destroy cancer cells, were really suppressed. After she followed a sleep protocol for just a few months, her natural killer cell count shot up by a jaw-dropping 47%. And if you need one more reason to take this seriously, consider this. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is part of the World Health Organization, officially classifies chronic night shift work, which just demolishes your sleep cycle, as a probable human carcinogen. It's in the same risk category as some industrial chemicals. That's how critical sleep really is for your health. So, as we wrap up, I want you to stop thinking of these as 5 separate things to do. They're not just a checklist. They are a single, interconnected daily strategy, a complete blueprint for defending and regenerating your cells. And here it is, your daily blueprint. It all flows together. You start the day with hydration to cleanse the system. Then you add fermented foods to fortify your gut. Use metabolic walking to starve threats and oxygenate your body. And you eat sulforaphane-rich veggies to wake up your DNA's guardian. And then, the most important step, you lock it all in with 7 to 8.5 hours of restorative sleep to reset, repair, and get ready for the next day. Each habit just makes the next one even more powerful. The science couldn't be clearer. Your body has this incredible, built-in ability to defend itself and to heal, no matter your age. Our job is just to give it the right tools and the right conditions to do its work. These habits aren't a burden, they're an opportunity. So the only question left is for you. Looking at this blueprint, which one of these powerful habits are you going to start with tomorrow?